Hello, my grots and gits. We are back. It is time. Games Workshop may have done it. Anyway, yesterday they released what I think is the best detachment in the entire game with the Ad Mech. The nice thing about that detachment was, while it was probably the best detachment in the game, Ad Mech does not have the data sheets to really make it busted. So I don't think the rules were broken. I just think they were very good. Now we're moving on to the Necrons, and I think GW really wanted to try to get a busted detachment. Now, I personally don't think this is broken. I really don't. I do think it's very good. So if you're seeing a bunch of doom and gloom all over the internet, I don't actually think this is truly busted. I think there will be counterplay, but there is no denying that the Necrons are looking freaking spicy. So let's break this detachment down for everyone. You have the Star Shadow Arsenal. The detachment rule is going to be the Relentless Onslaught. Each time a Necrons model from your army makes an attack that targets a unit within range of one or more objective markers, add 1 to the hit roll. In addition, ranged weapons equipped by vehicles, mounted models, excluding Titanic, that's a good thing they excluded that, have the assault ability. Now, just right off the bat, what does this mean? It means your Doomsday Arcs are going to be assault. That is scary. It means your Doomstalkers are going to be assault, which may be less scary, but still pretty dang good. Now, let's look at some of the other... and mounted. So this is one that I think a lot of people probably weren't thinking about, but now your Locust Heavy Destroyers are going to be assault as well, which means they're not going to be limited to just that 8-inch move anymore, which it's very good. Let's dive into this a little bit because it's not like a huge problem yet. So we've got the Dread Majesty Aura, and this is 30 points. Overlord or Catacomb Command Barge only. I tend to think we're probably going to see this on the Catacomb Command Barge, which is cool because I like seeing that model. While a friendly Necrons unit, excluding Titanics, once again, very important, is within 6 inches of the bearer, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. This is an unbelievably powerful enhancement. Just put it on a character and just randomly, you get like old Chapter Master buffs. It's like, well, maybe not Chapter Master buff, old Captain buffs. This is super strong. Very good. Just a aura on a random model for reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. Woo. This would allow your Silent King to always stay in the ignore modifiers aura, for example. Or you can have both auras of reroll hit rolls in 1 and wound rolls of 1, and the entire army is rerolling hit rolls. That's just a very strong ability, and I don't think there's going to be a single army made with this detachment that won't take it. Then we have the miniaturized Nebuloscope for 15 points. Necrons model only. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer have ignore cover. This is very solid. You're going to probably see this being dropped on a unit of Locust Destroyers because those things are AP1, so the bane of their existence is going to be Armor of Contempt, and it's going to be cover. So this makes Locust Destroyers much scarier. It's a very good enhancement. Then we're going to have the Demanding Leader for 10 points. Necrons model only. In your movement phase, select 1 friendly vehicle or mounted unit, excluding Titanic, within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. For 10 points, this is a very strong enhancement. I think you might just pop this down a random hex mark. It's a very strong enhancement. It's very hard to argue not taking it. Cool. Then we have the Chrono Impedance Fields for 25 points. Necrons model only. In your command phase, select 1 friendly Necrons vehicle or Necrons mounted unit, excluding Titanic, thank goodness, within 6 inches of the bearer until the start of your next command phase. Each time an attack, they are -1 damage. This is brutally powerful, and it will be taken every single game. The Silent King is going to be now a 4-pin vulnerable save that heals, that can have a feel no pain if you take a spider, and he's going to be -1 damage at all times. The Silent King loves this attachment, and this is going to be absolutely nightmarish. This is super powerful. For 25 points, it's freaking amazing. I don't think it's busted still. I really don't, but it's going to be able to make for super crazy strong rules. Thank goodness GW has the best Necrons player, or one of the best Necrons player in the world, on their staff, making sure this is nice and fair and balanced, right, guys? All right, let's talk about some of these strats. These strats are also very darn exciting, but just the nature of the rule is really good. So let's start breaking some of these down. First off, we got Merciless Reclamation, and this is in your shooting phase or the fight phase. 1 Necrons unit, excluding Titanic, thank good. Thank God for that. From your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, if the target of the attack is within range of one or more objective markers, add 1 to the wound roll. Very, very solid. This is going to be adding 1 to the wound roll for a lot of like your Locust Destroyers, I think. Which makes them very, very scary because now they're going to be, their anti-infantry gun is probably going to be ignoring cover because of the enhancement. It's going to be +1 to wound. It's going to be re-rolling wound rolls and hit rolls of 1. This is a very, very solid thing and just very good. Then we have a Dimensional Tunnel, your movement phase. 1 vehicle or mounted unit, excluding Titanic. Until the end of the phase, models in your unit can move horizontally through models and terrain. They have Kool-Aid Man. All right. Off of initial impressions, a lot of people are going to freak out about this one. They're going to say, oh, Kool-Aid Man's so busted. DDAs get to move through walls. Well, yes, this is a very good stratagem. Just remember how long DDAs are. It's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing in the world for them to just move through a wall and then just be in a place because those models are massive. Still very good utility. I'm not saying it's not a strong strat. It's still a very strong strat. I'm just not certain it's going to be quite as unbelievably strong as people might think it is. I think the real threat of this strat is the Silent King being able to walk through walls because that guy only moves 8. But does that make him like less threatening or more threatening here than he is in Hypercrypt where he can just like 3-inch anywhere? I'm not sure. But I don't necessarily think right off the bat it's as busted as everyone is worried about, but it is very, 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 very good. Then let's read about the unyielding forms. This is going to be your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 vehicle or mounted unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of those attacking unit attacks until the end of the phase. Each time an attack targets a model in your unit, if the strength is greater, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So you now have +1 to wound, you now have -1 to wound, and you can walk through walls. All amazing strats. Endless Servitude. This is going to be the end of your fight phase. 1 Necrons unit, excluding Titanic. Now remember, this is just Necrons unit. You can use the unit's reanimation protocols. Every single Necrons detachment has a stratagem in this vein. This one's pretty damn good. It just means end of your fight phase. It does say your fight phase, not the fight phase. All right, so they can only do it in their turn, which is something, right? Okay, fair play. Then we have the Chrono Shift. The Chrono Shift is going to be your movement phase. 1 Necron's vehicle or Necron's mounted unit from your army that has not been selected to move this phase. Until the end of the phase, if your unit advances, do not make an advance roll and auto 6. Okay, so now we have advancing DDAs that can walk through a wall and they auto advance 6. Now we're starting to get into ridiculous territory. This is going to be a big problem, and there is still going to be counterplay. Like I said, I don't think this is something that has no counterplay, but this is clearly going to be exceptionally powerful. I think it can probably be balanced pretty quickly just by GW raising the DDA points back up to the 200, 210 point level where they need to be. Them being at 190 is silly. So I think there is definitely ways that this is going to be fine. Remember, all these attachments are going to be released in the context of a greater balance update that's going to be released towards the mid or end of this month. And then lastly, we have the reactive reposition strat for 1 CP. Your unit can make a normal move of up to D6 or 6 if it's mounted or vehicle. Actually, it's in the shooting phase, not movement phase. Sorry, let me start over here. When your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has shot. Whoa. After they've shot, you get a reactive movement. That is fascinating. You can make a D6 or a 6-inch move if you're a vehicle unit. So basically, sometimes, depending on where you're positioned, you're going to be able to make sure that your opponent can only get 1 shooting phase into your vehicle. So this is actually pretty damn cool. All right, guys, so when I'm looking at this, basically here's what I'm thinking right off the bat. Every single list is always going to have Emotech the Stormlord because this wants every single CP in the game because its strats are fantastic. Every single list is probably going to be taking 3 Doomsday Arcs. You're probably going to be watching the Doomstalkers in this. You're probably going to be taking at least 1 max size unit of Locust Destroyers. I got to be honest with you, I probably still want Scorpex here because Scorpex are still fast and can move through walls innately and just bully things. But this is a very strong detachment. In the Discord right now, we are going to be cooking, and we are going to be coming up with a bunch of lists. I'll be back later today with that video for you. But for now, enjoy the fact that, yes, this is a very strong detachment. It's probably better than the AdMech in the context that just Necrons are a better army than AdMech. But I really think we're still going to have gameplay. But you know what? I could just have a foot stuck in my mouth, and I might have to take it out. Anyway, until later today when I come back with some list ideas for you guys, this is Happy Crumpin'. Crump on. Bye-bye.